Well, friends, the other day when I said that Ethel was fixed and this heat soak issue that was keeping her from starting was resolved, it wasn't. And I'll own that. I did something I don't normally do. I was shotgunning parts in. Focusing more on getting up to see Kim than trying to go ahead and fix things the right way. It's just kind of quick, fast, dirty, in a hurry. And it bit me. Granted, it didn't leave me stranded. I got stuck at the Tractor Supply Company in their parking lot for about an hour, trying to go ahead and figure out what was hot and trying to cool it off. And after that, I went ahead, drove the truck onto the hospital that day, and then came straight home afterwards to go ahead and park it until I go ahead and got a chance to go ahead and properly troubleshoot, which I did yesterday. So yesterday morning after my hospital shift, I went ahead and rented a fuel pressure tester just to go ahead and figure out what was going on, if this was in fact a fuel issue or a spark issue. Granted, I could have gone ahead and pulled a spark plug or just stuck a spare plug in and grounded it and checked for spark. The problem was that for the most part, I'm working alone right now, again with Kim being in the hospital. However, I had some assistance briefly, long enough to go ahead and figure out what was going on. I pulled the cover off of the fuel pump relay to see what was going on with that and verify that it was in fact powering up. Went ahead and pulled the Schrader valve cap off and hooked up the fuel pressure gauge, and sure enough, key on, it goes ahead and blasts right up to like 40 pounds, 44 pounds, something like that. And turn the key back off, it would bleed back off to about maybe 20 pounds or so. But as soon as you put the key back on, it came right back up to 44 pounds. This was with a hot engine. I'd already gone ahead and test drove it to make sure that we were recreating the problem. It was hot enough that when I brought the truck home, it did the same thing before. They'd go ahead and not fire off. So, knowing that fuel was in fact flowing like it's supposed to, verifying it with the fuel pump relay, verifying all the other relays in the box, auto shutdown and all that are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, left me with one remaining conclusion. This guy right here. This is the pickup coil, at least that's what they call it at the parts store. Chrysler tends to call it the cam position sensor. So cam position sensor or pickup coil, either one of those was technically correct. It's obviously not the same cam position sensor as you'll find in the Hemis, but that being said, I went ahead and I looked at the part number on this. I don't know if you can see it. I took a still shot of it, so I'll post that up. But the part number on this is an original Mopar part number, meaning that this was the factory part that was in the donor Dodge that I bought way back when. I had swapped the cam position sensor, or pickup coil, whatever you want to call it. I'd swapped this out of the distributor that's in this motor because the distributor that's in this motor is from a 99, and the sensor uses a different plug in 99 than it did in 94 through 97. But I had the original 94 part that came with the donor truck. Now, having seen the condition of the donor truck, there's no doubt in my mind that this is an original factory part that came with the truck, when it was delivered, not one that somebody had replaced over the years, because nobody put anything factory on that truck ever again. So kind of makes sense that that's probably why it's burned out. I mean, the thing is from 1994. Things are going to happen. So there's an AutoZone part in there right now, and I know I'll go back to, I don't typically do this. I know how Mopar tends to be very selective about, or Chrysler products tend to be very selective about using factory parts. However, in this case, timing and finances, I'm just going to go ahead and I'll throw an AutoZone part in there. I know it's there, and if it burns out, it's under warranty. In a perfect world, I'd be putting Mopar parts back in it, but we're not there yet. So anyway, like I said, that's it in a nutshell. And part of that is my own fault because I'm shotgunning parts, which I don't normally do. Normally I take the time to go ahead and troubleshoot, which I had an assistant yesterday, and I was in fact doing that when we got to the part where we said, hey, it's an ignition issue, not a fuel issue. So I have not test drove yet. I will do that, I don't know, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. I do need to go ahead and test drive it, get it good and warmed up again. I think temperatures are supposed to be up upper 80s maybe later this week, and so that'll work better. But yeah, I need to go ahead and get it good and warmed up and verify that it will go ahead and restart when I turn the key and push the magic button. But for right now, I'm 95% confident that it's fixed. A friend of mine went ahead and said, well, you know, back in the day, they would go ahead and Chrysler had a ballast resistor that they used in their ignition systems to go ahead and keep the amperage from causing parts to get hot. And that's true, and I could do that. However, that being said, if that was necessary, this would have had a ballast resistor in the wire harness between the charging system and the computer. And of course, the computer controls the ignition and so on and so forth. So if that was the case and there was too much amperage getting to it, either A, I'd smoke the computer, or, you know, in this case, maybe smoke the pickup coil. But if that was an issue, they would have put a ballast resistor in from the factory. And this wire harness, I've tried to go ahead and keep it as factory as possible to go ahead and make troubleshooting problems like this easier. You know, and again, yeah, I did. I shotgunned a bunch of parts and it bit me. Granted, all the parts except the pickup coil were already paid for once, and we're all under lifetime warranty. So it cost me a little bit of my time, sure. A little bit of inconvenience because I got stuck at Tractor Supply Company waiting for things to cool off. Well, I swapped out an ignition coil that didn't need to be swapped out, but you know, you have to make adjustments on the fly sometimes, and you don't necessarily have the luxury of time to do things the way you normally would when you've got other life factors in the way. So anyway, that being said, I'm done rambling. Like I said, I own it. I was shotgunning parts and it didn't fix the problem. And after some troubleshooting, I was able to at least go ahead and identify what part of the problem, or what part of the system is the problem. And I'm reasonably certain that since this is a 1994 part, it has seen its full useful service life. They don't normally go bad, but when they do, they do. So I put money on it that this is in fact the problem, but we'll find out later, and I'll let you know because there's no point in hiding it. Anyway, y'all be good to each other, stay safe. You know, community, not competition. You know, I do this for fun. I'm not supported, I'm not monetized, I don't get paid, I'm not endorsed. I do this to go ahead and try and help share information that might help somebody else down the road. And I enjoy doing it. What are you doing, dog? So anyway, let's see, Ellie's Garage. Let's go ahead and throw that one out there. Robert's Garage, Roy Marco, Straight Six Fan. There's, goodness knows, there's so many. 615 Customs, another one. There's a lot of great YouTube channels out there besides the big ones. Nothing wrong with the big ones. I enjoy those too. But some of these other guys, you know, they're still getting their foot in the door. Puddin's Fab Shop, he's a local guy, smooth crack up. This guy, I love his videos. He gets really crazy with it. It's very creative, very, very entertaining individual. So anyway, y'all have a good one, be safe, and we'll see you next time. This is Joe from the Shade Tree. Bye-bye.